Hi, welcome to Gab and Dad. I'm Gab, obviously. Dad's still away, but the show must go on, so Dad has phoned in and graced us with his disembodied voice from Nova Scotia. Hi, Dad.
Hi, yes, I'm down here on the south shore of Nova Scotia, almost completely enveloped by fog. Will it ever go away?
Well, that's the way we like you. So we got your opinions, and our opinions are going to be about Public Enemies, which you saw there, and I saw here. Saw the same movie, I hope. Public Enemies is about the famed Depression-era gangster, John Dillinger, played by Johnny Depp, A+, and the pursuit of this criminal by the FBI is forming and is personified in this film by Agent Melvin Purvis, played by Christian Bale, A++. And this is directed by Michael Mann. This film's got a lot going for it on paper. What did we think?
Well, the first thing I want to say about the film is that it's visually quite stunning. Partly, I think, because of the digital technology that's used, but that aside, the cinematography is superb, the direction is excellent. The New York Times, I think, described it as a work of art, and in some ways it is a work of art. It's almost worth seeing just for that alone.
I agree. It was visually stunning. Michael Mann certainly knows what he's doing. People will be familiar with him, at least from Miami Vice, so that says it all right there. And the technology as well, all really worked well. And I think the material lends itself as well. That era, the fashions, the architecture, I mean, all the details in terms of the art direction just play into the visual package perfectly in this.
I'd also like to mention the music. I think the original music composed for the film was very impressive, and it was fun to see our very own Diana Krall singing Bye Bye Blackbird.
Diana Krall, I knew you'd mention her somehow. Yeah, I mean, it was all very evocative. I certainly felt immersed in a very believable world.
However, I have to say that beyond the visual aspect of it, which we agree is stunning, I was somewhat disappointed in this film. I think for two reasons. One is I found the plot not to be engaging. It was so predictable. It was so, in some ways, hackneyed. It was just, basically good guys, in this case the FBI, chasing bad guys. By the way, I want to mention how good Billy Crudup was playing J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah.
But anyway, the plot was not very engaging. And then the other thing is, I was disappointed in the development of the two central characters, Melvin Purvis, the FBI agent, and John Dillinger, of course, played by Johnny Depp. I just couldn't get engaged with them either. They didn't seem very interesting or complicated to me. Yeah,
the characterizations were surprisingly shallow for what you would imagine are very interesting multi-layered characters, and it seemed like the script just wanted to have them labeled as the good versus evil, as you say, in order to maybe just facilitate, to streamline the story. But then, as you mentioned, the story itself also felt flat. I agree with that, and that quite blew my mind, because I would expect this story to be very enticing and engaging. Now, you said predictable. It's a factual story, or, I mean, it's based on fact, so we know where the story's going, but that doesn't mean that it needs to lack, the engagement or suspense, which I sort of felt it did, and I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, I'll give one example. I mean, Melvin Purvis, the FBI agent, is depicted, I think it's fair to say, as a fairly one-dimensional character, obsessed with tracking down, capturing, and perhaps killing, as he in fact does ultimately, John Dillinger. And then at the very end of the film, when they put up those little notes about what happened to these real people, one was stunned to discover, I didn't know this, that Melvin Purvis, the real Melvin Purvis, subsequently committed suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no hint in the film of any of the reasons why such an outcome might have happened.
No, and I think it must have been intentional that the Agent Purvis character was kept, as you say, one-dimensional or quite straightforward, because it was just to facilitate the story that was obviously more about Dillinger, and his role in that was just pursuing Dillinger. So we didn't see him at home and all of that, which I can understand and excuse as it services the story. But then you see that postscript, and I was suddenly much more intrigued by what we hadn't found out about Agent Purvis that was just teased at the end, and that was a little bit of a detriment to the rest of the story, and making me feel like, wait a minute, I missed things, I want more, which was not an unfortunate way to feel right at the end.
But the bottom line for me is that it's a film worth seeing, if only just to admire the cinematography and direction. It's a bit like going to see, a beautiful painting done by a wonderful artist. Sometimes the subject matter is almost secondary. You've gone to admire the technique. And that's how I feel about this film. So I would recommend it. Go see it.
I agree in terms of appreciating the artistry that went into it, definitely. But unlike a painting, I don't look at a painting to get necessarily to be given a story the way that you expect a film to basically provide you with the story.
2 hours plus either.
Exactly, with 2.5 hours, and with Depp and Bale, you're expecting more meat on those bones, and I hate to say that I don't feel that was there, but it's a worthwhile experience overall. You're not going to hate yourself like at the end of Transformers.
Well, the fog is closing in, Gab, down here on the South Shore, so I should probably hang up.
Well, that's fine with us. Thanks a lot, Dad.
Thanks, Gab. Bye.
Bye.